Hey, how's it going? So I have come across some camera tips online recently, and it wasn't just once or twice I've seen these, but I feel like these are circulating online, and I needed to effectively, I hate to use this terminology, but de-influence them because they're inherently dangerous, both for you and your devices. And I left a couple of nice, kind comments where I could and sent people DMs saying, hey, I'm not sure if you realize, but what you're doing is dangerous. But I wanted to make a video about this. I'm not going to name names of any of the people who have put this out. I saw a common theme that the people who were putting this stuff out there were quite young and probably inexperienced. There were people who vlogged at home and mostly used their phones. So those sort of clues lead me to believe that maybe they didn't have much of an idea that this stuff could be dangerous. But anyway, look, let's jump right into it. This is going to be a very quick tip today. Okay, the first one involves these selfie sticks like this. This is just a cheap plastic selfie stick. I've had this like about a decade now. Picked it up at a market in Singapore. It's been very useful, very handy, and it was one of the first things that I attached my phone to, or a phone to, because this isn't the same one I've been using. So what a lot of people do, they've got this selfie stick / tabletop tripod, pop it like that, film themselves, blah, 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 vlog time. That's not what they do, is it? They don't say that, but anyway, you get the point. Now, the big tip that I've seen a lot of people talking about with this that is very worrying, and that I wanted to tell you, hey, watch out, is when you combine the little tabletop tripod with the selfie stick and extend it all the way out there. Still, it's, you know, you say it's kind of designed for that, it should hold the phone, and it more or less does. Like, you know, my phone is actually just out of shot up here. Here it is, right up there. Okay, and so inherently you'd think that's not a problem. But what you'll tend to find with a lot of these selfie sticks is that they're not very well weighted at the bottom. So the phone is much heavier than the bottom. Now, whenever you've got a little tripod like this, let's come down here, which is like a tiny little set of legs like that pop out of a long stick. The weight balance is going to be off. The reason tripods have very long legs is to hold a heavy camera or even a phone and make sure it doesn't topple over. So these tiny little legs like this are inherently unstable compared to a normal tripod. So you can give it a little shove. This is actually my phone, so I don't want to do that. You can give it a little shove and it can be very unstable, particularly for people who are filming outdoors or also for people who are doing things like food blogging. And this is one of the ones that really worried me because it was a food blogger doing it that I saw first off, talking about how she used it in her kitchen. It just gave me nightmares. I thought, oh my God, she's going to hurt herself or she's going to make her phone explode. And I'll show you why now. Okay, so standing like this is inherently unsafe. And again, I don't want to knock this over because this is my real phone. I don't have just a dummy phone to be able to show you this stuff. And what she was doing is in the kitchen. So let's take it to my kitchen over here and let's demonstrate. So here we are in my kitchen, and here's the little selfie stick. I've actually even got this dropped down a little bit, just so it fits here a little bit closer to the shot. But right here, I've got a stovetop, yeah? Now, I don't have anything on it, but if I'm an influencer, and I'm cooking, and I've got a pot of boiling water steaming away here, I'm waving, you know, my utensils around, all this sort of stuff. Wow, on guard. No, I don't think they do that. They don't sword fight with the camera, do they? But if this gets knocked over and falls in here, I'm going to destroy my very expensive phone, which isn't good. Nobody wants to destroy their phone. Also, the other safety thing, imagine the doorbell rings, there's a package, someone calls to you, all that sort of stuff, and this happens to get knocked over as you walked out. It's got a lithium-ion battery in it. If that falls onto a stovetop with gas, with flames, even an induction hob like this one, or into there, it's either going to get damaged, or it could even, with a lithium-ion battery in it, explode. And you really don't want that. If anyone's heard of all those disastrous accidents where Teslas explode because they're on fire after a car crash, all those sorts of things, you'll get a mini version of that with your phone, which is incredibly scary and incredibly dangerous just because you're on a stand that isn't stable enough. And look, I don't want to push the point too much, but yeah, inherently dangerous. If you are going to, what these are designed for is for you to be able to hold them like that and do little vlogs and hold them out like that. And then bonus, they've got a little tabletop tripod that you can plonk it on a surface like that and film yourself with. It's not for doing overhead shots in a kitchen, as much as it looks like it. So if you are going to do that sort of stuff, please do make sure you either get a proper tripod, a mount with a clamp of some kind to clamp it onto things where it stays securely, because it can be a massive safety hazard. You don't want this to go either into your cooking or onto a hob and explode or something like that. Very dangerous. Okay, I've harped on enough about that one. The next one, another one, which was in the kitchen a couple of times, which was really dangerous, was involving this sort of packing tape. So this is the kind of standard packing tape that you get, you know, when you move houses, you seal boxes with it. Fantastic. It's fantastic for this sort of thing. And likewise, this seemed to also involve people who shoot with their phones in kitchens. Another really dangerous one. Again, I'm not going to do this practically. I'm not going to have this hob firing. But for the purposes of this, let's imagine, say, that this was on. I was doing some chopping over here. I've got my knife. Here we go. I'm chopping away. I'm not going to wave that round at the camera. I'm chopping away. I'm not paying attention to what I'm doing. I've got stuff burning. Not stuff burning. I've got stuff cooking. You never know. Depending on who it is on camera, it might be burning. But I've got stuff cooking over here. I'm chopping my ingredients over here. There's a lot going on. Again, it's going to be very easy to knock over one of these, but that's not what I want to talk about. I've got steam coming out of this, which is what I want to get to. Now, when you combine the steam with this and with what these people are doing, again, it becomes very dangerous. Anybody who's quite experienced has probably already got where I'm going with this. Go watch another video if you're experienced, although you might be having a good laugh at it too. So what people are doing is to get overhead shots. They were taking their phone, they were taking this tape, and as a cheap way, instead of getting a tall tripod or an overhead mount, that's going to be loud. Now, to be fair, the people who I saw doing this, they weren't just getting one piece of tape like this. They were getting lots of bits of tape to make it as strong as possible. And they were sticking the phone like that to get overhead shots and having it point down. Now, look, that isn't even holding for this. Like, I'd probably need lots more tape, but there we go. And again, they were using, oh, no, there we go, look. So there's my foot. Whoop. You see what happened there? That fell. Now, I didn't use enough tape, but I didn't use, and what is enough? And I didn't use the same amount of tape that I saw people do in videos. I'm just not going to do that with my phone because I have standards. But what people were doing is using lots of this tape, hanging their phone up there, and then you've got steam coming off of things that are cooking. You've also got a phone running its camera. So what happens with glue and with heat? The glue heats up and gets softer and effectively melts and becomes less strong. So even if you get really, really, really good tape, it will take longer. But as the glue heats up with both the heat of the phone, regardless of whether you're cooking anything or not, and maybe the heat of any cooking you're doing, it becomes softer and the phone will fall off. Now, one of two things can happen. If you're doing it overhead, and this is on the roof of you cooking, it's going to whack you in the head if it falls. Don't want that. Or it could fall into your cooking, fall into fire, something like that in the kitchen, and just be generally unsafe. So look, I would advise, if you are running the camera on your phone, I mean, really, I can't think of a legitimate reason to ever tape your phone to the roof, if I'm completely honest. If you had to, absolutely had to at a pinch. Guerrilla filmmaking, I get it. I've done low budget short films before where we use tape to just fix absolutely everything. But what you will do is you will use the correct type of tape, a heat resistant tape, gaffer tape, something like that, that will stick for longer and only do this for a very short period of time, not the entire time that you're cooking a recipe, because this could be a huge safety hazard. And look, I'm talking about absolute extreme situations where you need to get a shot because you're getting paid to get the shot and you're on a deadline. Otherwise, do not use tape. Especially never, ever, ever fix your phone anywhere with packing tape. It is incredibly dangerous. Maybe get away with doing that to a wall very briefly, but no, it's going to fall off as the camera gets hotter and hotter and it's recording. And never do this above cooking, never do this above a flame or an induction hob, because these have lithium-ion batteries in them, and if those heat up, they can explode. That's my PSA. I'll catch you guys soon in another video, which won't be so ranty, but I felt compelled to de-influence this stuff because it's so dangerous and I don't want people to get hurt. Okay, take care, see you soon, bye.